How's it going, guys? We are back at ECD Auto Design and we are going to test drive some of their epic vehicles today. If you missed my production facility tour, make sure to check it out because we went in depth with some of the founders of the company, from a Defender 110, which we are going to take out, that has a LT4 supercharged V8 making 650 horsepower, to a Series 3 V12 Jaguar that's been bored out from 272 horsepower to nearly 400. The range of vehicles they make is truly incredible, and I can't wait to finally get behind the wheel. Well, guys, we are about to drive Loki, a Defender 110 with an LT4, a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 making 650 horsepower, an 8-speed automatic, and all-wheel drive. This is about to be pretty awesome. So we're in Project Loki, about to take it for a drive. In terms of specification, I would certainly opt for an LT4. I just like unnecessary amounts of power.
Yeah, supercharger is a nice sound to hear as well.
What's the most common seat configuration? This is a 6-seater?
Yeah, normally it's 2, 2, 4.
Okay.
It's very popular. So you've got access through the back there to the 4 inward facing jump seats as well.
Has anyone ever done a manual with the LT4?
No, we tend to only do the manuals on the LS3s.
Okay.
That seems to be the most popular combination. All the LTs so far have been 8-speed autos. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. First time driving an ECD vehicle, and then we're going to take out the V12 Series 3 Jag. Should be really, really cool. It's a pretty unbelievable process, customizing and building one of these. And the level of customization that you can achieve with this car is pretty insane. I did a spec myself, going through all of the different wheel options, color options, interior options, trim options, and you could spend a lifetime deciding on things. So I think the hardest part about buying one of these is deciding what you want to do, because it's so limitless. What's your favorite car out of the fleet?
I'm a big fan of the 90s. And I do like a heritage look, but I like it with a good engine underneath. So
nice.
Like maybe a heritage look, but with an LT4. That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Do they weigh a good amount less than the 110s?
They're marginal. It's not a huge deal of difference. You don't really notice a great deal of difference driving. They just tend to. I just like the look of the 90. I've always liked
it. Looks really cool.
Yeah, they're a good looking little truck. So yeah, I'd always choose one. They're fun in the soft tops as well. Lots of customers take them in soft tops and go right. But yeah, they're a very popular little car.
That's pretty serious. Wow.
That wasn't full throttle either, was it?
It was full throttle.
No, okay.
That rips. What's the curb weight on this?
GVWR is around 6,001, they say. So we very rarely take them on the scales.
That feels quick.
Yeah. It's responsive.
100%. Yeah. And it sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think it's got a good insulation from wind noise and tire noise, but then you can hear the engine like crazy.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to get right with these Defenders, because I mean, even from factory, they used to leak. They were noisy, uncomfortable. So a lot of time and effort goes into sort of heat shielding, sound insulation, everything. Like, we ceramic coat the front and the back of the firewalls. Then we had the fat mat. We had a heavier, thicker 3-layer mat as well, just to try and keep some of this road noise out and make it something you can actually have a conversation in.
Yeah.
Because if we're an original Defender, we would be shouting at each other now.
It's really easy to drive too.
Yeah.
And I feel like it feels smaller on the road than maybe it looks just viewing the car from the outside.
Yeah, they're imposing to look at, but I mean, they're not that big of a vehicle. I mean, they're one of the design first in like the 60s, 70s, 80s. They didn't really change the whole way through. So they didn't get huge, which is quite nice. I mean, what's that new Hummer, the EV Hummer thing?
Yeah,
I drove around
9,000 pounds.
Ridiculous.
And this has upgraded Brembo brakes?
Yes, this is Brembo's front and back, and it also has adjustable air suspension.
Do you have a requirement if you get the LT4 that you have to get the upgraded brakes?
We advise it. Yeah. We offer the Brembo or Alcon are our two sort of favourite for the Defender. The Alcons are very well suited to daily driving. The Brembos, because they're like a much more performance brake system, they tend to do better as they get warmer.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really depends. A lot of people like Brembo for the name, and the performance obviously is there as well. But we have a nice mix of options for people, so they can choose what fits.
So you were just saying, after the car is built, you have a 500 to 1,000 mile test procedure to make sure that the car is suitable to get to the customer. And I think it makes a lot of sense. A lot of modern cars you buy, you have to bring it in 500 miles to get the first oil change. And
right. Yeah. I mean, we don't want our customers to have to do anything like that. Really. So we want to make sure the car is free of any bugs, and all the first oil changes are done, all the fluids are changed and ready, and the car is just exactly as we want it to be. So we'll do the first 500, change the oils, change fluids where needed, and then we'll do our remaining 500, which is just a full bed-in of the vehicle. Especially like with cars like Defenders, because they're so modular, they do tend to settle in as you start driving. Like the door alignments will slightly change. So like we'll have it perfect off the line, but then 900 miles later they'll have adjusted slightly. So the door won't shut as smooth as it should. So then we'll readjust, retighten, retorque, and make sure it's set for delivery.
So for the air suspension, is that adjustable ride height, or how stiff the suspension is?
Yeah, you can pretty much play with it all.
Wow.
Yeah, we have like pretty much a standard. We don't give people a great deal of choice on how sort of stiff it is. We set it up to how it rides best.
Sure.
So it's a good thing, because obviously we have a different drive line in, so our angles are slightly different to how they were from factory. The air suspension allows us to set the car correctly, because like trying to find springs that are the right rate for different weights, how it wasn't designed, is quite difficult. So this just allows us to set it up.
It rides really nice. It's not too loose where it feels like it's swaying all over the place, but it's it eats up bumps.
Yeah, it's got sway bars front and back. We keep them even with our extended fuel tanks. We just space them out a little bit more to clear the tank. But yeah, I mean, the Defender chassis is actually quite a good platform. Like, for saying it was designed in when did they start doing Coil Spring? Probably early 80s. It's really not bad. If you compare it to like Broncos and Jeeps of that era, it's far better.
100%.
Yeah. So it gives us a good platform to work from, and we can just improve. We can just dial it back in and make slight improvements and make it drive like this. I mean, this is a 30-year-old truck.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. Right. It drives like a brand new vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the new engines, quick engines are powerful. That helps a lot. Nice shifting transmission helps a lot.
Yeah, the transmission's super smooth.
Yeah. So that's the GM 8-speed, and then like I said, it's bolted up to the Land Rover transfer case. So you've got a Land Rover 4-wheel drive system. So you've got like best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's a nice running truck.
Now we're about to do almost a complete opposite experience. It would be the complete opposite if it was the electric version, but we're going to drive a V12 Series 3 E-Type, which I'm super excited for. I've never actually driven an E-Type of any kind, and the spec on this with the original V12, I think it makes total sense to have something like an LT4 in this, but I like that it has an original V12 just with a heck of a lot more power.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the main thing for us is giving people options of what they want.
Yeah.
So if they want to keep it a numbers matching car, keep it a numbers matching car. We'll do everything to make sure it does what you need it to do. The Jag was a good one because the car was very clean. This was actually a customer's car we're going to drive. So it was very clean, numbers matching all the way through. So we kept it that way, kept the original block. We sent that over to England to have that rebuilt by a specialist that we know and trust.
Sure.
And he upped the horsepower. I think it was from like 280 up to about 375, something like that. But you can feel it. It's fuel injected now, and we can tune it on a laptop rather than trying to find somebody that can work with carburetors.
Yeah. All right. Well, quite surprising. We're doing some light off-roading, which is pretty awesome. Have you guys taken these things like heavy off-roading? Yeah, they do really well. I did a good test in the EV. Probably a few weeks ago, we took it out in the water and the sand, and that's
Florida
awesome.
Sand is brutal, but it did well. In all fairness, I did get it stuck once, but I was in like sludge this thing.
I mean, you could get anything stuck no matter what.
Yeah.
Wow,
Showroom.
This rides over bumps really well.
Yeah, it's good. Honestly, I mean, they're built for off-road, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what they're for. So they seem to handle it very well.
What percentage of clients do you think actually off-road them? Limited.
1%.
1%? Yeah. That's probably the same with a, ordinary Defender too.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. People just want them because they're fun. No one else has got them. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Spectacular as well.
Yeah.
Behind me is a Series 3 Jaguar E-Type, only this one has been completely modernized from the ground up by ECD Auto Design. And today, I'm gonna take it for a drive. Enzo Ferrari famously said that the E-Type was the most beautiful car ever created. Made from 1961 to 1973, it truly is an icon. But this thing is really something special. All right, we are in the E-Type now. This is obviously a radically different experience. We've got a V12 and a manual transmission. This rides unbelievably well.
Yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah, the suspension's really smooth.
Yeah, it's all upgraded race spec suspension, so adjustable, everything like that. It's all in the process of being very much dialed in this car.
Suspension definitely feels dialed. The interior is also absolutely gorgeous in this. I think the fit and finish and the choice of materials is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's nice looking little car.
Well, that sounds good. That's like quarter throttle, and it sounds ridiculous. Wow. So you can get these with a variety of different engines as well, right?
Yeah, so we do the tuned V12, we do the Chevy LT1, Chevy LT4, Chevy LS3, and then we can also do them as an EV as well.
This with an LT4 would be terrifying.
Yeah, we've got the first one going through the line.
Really?
Soon, yeah.
Wow. The intakes sound ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nice.
What do you think you would spec it as? Engine option.
If I was to do one, having just listened to that V12, probably V12.
Yeah. I think as cool as it would be to have a silent electric E-Type, I think I would need the motor. Wow. That sounds ridiculous.
That's quick.
It's really fast. It was kind of surprisingly fast.
Wow. That feels quicker than the LT1.
Yeah. That was ridiculous. What do these weigh? Not very much, apparently. Wow.
Yeah,
yeah, for apparently slightly less than 400 horsepower, that thing ripped.
Yeah.
I actually like the transmission as well.
So that's a Tremec T5.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So new transmission.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was gonna say, it feels like a modern transmission.
Very much adapted to fit.
Yeah. But man, when you get on the gas in this thing, that sounds so good.
It's like a 1960s racing car.
Yeah, for real. Now, one of these inside of a Defender would be interesting. That might be my engine of choice.
Don't tell them because they'll ask me to do it.
Fair enough. These are some of the most beautiful cars ever made. So to get that classic styling and then have a more modern driving experience kind of is the best of all worlds.
I think the fuel injection on this V12 makes an incredible difference.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've driven the original V12s and they're fairly, some feel very sluggish, but I mean, this is tuned and fuel injected, so it feels very, very different.
No, it's seriously fast. The manual feels fantastic. It rides really well. And I imagine every single time you turn it on, it's going to fire up and you can actually drive it instead of praying that it works.
Yeah, it's a nice fun car. This is how it should be.
Now, where would you service this since it has a modified Jag V12? Would you do it through you guys or?
I would look to be using specialists for these cars. Us or a specialist. And we know groups of people that will use and approve plans that we've worked with in the past.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, special thanks to ECD Auto Design for having me out. I really appreciate you coming along for these test drives, giving us some information. And
yeah, no problem at all.
The tour and everything yesterday was absolutely incredible. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I've got more information as well as a link to ECD's website in the description below. See you next video.